お立ち止めください。
So guess where I am? I'm in Sapporo, Hokkaido. I can't believe I made it back after all these years. I'm kind of in the middle of the city, and Sapporo is like a regular big city with about 2 million people living here. So when you think of Hokkaido, you think of like outdoors, mountains, lakes. But Sapporo, it has its own personality, and so I'm going to explore Sapporo this week. I was supposed to come to the Yuki Matsuri, which was supposed to be last week, and after I had my reservation on the plane and the hotel reservation, it was in late January. They canceled it, so I was thinking about just canceling the trip. And the hotel I could cancel, no cost. But with Peach Airlines, which is a low-cost carrier, they don't refund your money. They give you back the credit, so you still have to fly Peach or go somewhere, right? And so I decided, well, although the coronavirus numbers are surging still in Japan, that the peak eventually will be hit soon, I think, as well as I believe that not many people would be traveling at this time. And it was true. On the bus, there was, of course, no one next to me or no one across. And on the plane, I had the whole row next to me. The next two seats are empty, and the next three seats across, they were all empty. There probably was only about 25 to maybe 30% of the seats taken on the Peach Airlines flight. As they say, limit your contact. So I really didn't have much contact at all. And I had a taxi. It was a part of the booking.com. It was a free taxi ride from, they pick you up and they bring you to your hotel, which I don't know how they can afford doing that, but it was only me. A nice driver. His name was Uyo-san. He drove me here. It took a little over an hour. And we had all the plastic, protection. So I was the only one in the taxi. And here, I'm the only one here in the room. So I think it's quite safe as far as my way of traveling alone. I don't plan to really interact with many people, except with the front desk people. I just was talking to them about where to go in Sapporo. And, I wanted to go to more local, maybe hole-in-the-wall places that are not yet, so well known by, tourists. I will go to some of the general tourist areas, but, mainly I wanted to go where the local people go. So if I had one more chance to live somewhere in Japan, and I've lived several places, Tokyo, Yokohama, Toyama, Nagano, Kyoto, Osaka, I would choose Hokkaido. And I know it's really cold, and they have very high costs in the winter for heating, and actually spring and fall are quite short. But I love Hokkaido. I just love the vastness, and if you want a city life and still be close to nature, Sapporo is a great location. And I just like the people of Hokkaido. I think the people who come to Hokkaido are much more open-minded, and because there's space like outside of Sapporo, or just it's not so, everything is so tight and so close. So yes, I would choose to live in Hokkaido if I had another opportunity to choose to live again in Japan. There's something about Hokkaido that's different from the rest of Japan. Just like in Okinawa, there's something very different in Okinawa. If you go to Okinawa or you just talk to the people, I guess it's similar. Like even if you talk to people from Hawaii compared to mainland America people, it's very different. The geographic and the ethnic background makeup is very different. Hawaii is a very Asian state, right? Where about 75% of the people are of Asian descent. Okinawa is not exactly like that, but again, they have the history of being part of the Ryukyu Islands, and their development and their history is very different from mainland Japan. So Okinawa is, very unique to Japan. The same as Alaska or Hawaii is to America, Okinawa and Hokkaido is to Japan. So I arrived yesterday, and today is actually day one that I'm actually going to go out and see a couple of things. It is snowing outside. It's supposed to get sunny after noon today, so I may go to the tower, take a few photos, and maybe at night I might go back, and it depends on the weather. And today I hope to try a new, maybe kind of Sapporo Hokkaido food. I think it's curry chicken, they call it. So I'm going to try and find the restaurant and maybe do a little video on that if possible. Last night I went to eat Sapporo Ramen, And the people downstairs at the front desk, I said, what do the local people eat here? That's where I want to go. I don't want to go where it's too famous or so famous, or like, you know, all you other YouTube creators have talked about there. Where do you go? You know, and they sent me to what is called Ramen Sora, you know, Sora, I guess sky. And I guess they have branches all over the world. You know, I saw the guy who was working there, his t-shirt had like, you know, like Dubai and Cebu and many places. So I guess it's a large chain. But anyway, I went there. I ordered a special ramen. I think it was 1,050 yen, about $10. It was great. It was really, really good. And I like salt or salty food. So I would say it's a little heavy on the salt, the actual dashi or the ramen soup. I could tell that it was quite heavy in salt and probably not good for those people who have high blood pressure like me. But it was really, really good. And you know, Sapporo Ramen is one of the most famous things. I want to go to another ramen shop, maybe that they have the butter ramen. That's famous here in Hokkaido. They produce milk, dairy, butter. But you know, imagine, that's also probably not great for your cholesterol and your health also, but that's what Hokkaido is famous for them. And I'm assuming that what they served me last night was also a favorite dish for the locals, because in there where I only saw local resident type people, and there are not many visitors from outside visiting here, so it's a very popular place among the local people. The only thing was that I couldn't really take any video, and I took some. You got a little booth like this big with like those plastic protectors for the coronavirus, and you're just sitting there, and the camera is so close that you can't really take much video. And you can't really talk because it's like a hole in the wall. It literally is like a hole in the wall. And you know, everyone's really tight in, and it's probably not great to be talking, especially with the coronavirus. But also, because I have a Japanese face, and if I started speaking English and trying to make a video, it would attract too much attention and probably would be frowned upon. So if I were Caucasian, or definitely look foreign to the Japanese, you know, I probably could get away with, you know, doing a video or speaking English, and nobody would pay me too much attention. But because I have a Japanese face, sometimes this has kind of a reverse kind of reaction, which is not always positive. So I just took some video of me eating the ramen, which was very good, and I did enjoy it a lot. But I would have liked to take that ambience of that hole in the wall with, you know, very small, like maybe, I would say maybe 10 people could sit in there, and they all have the little wall protectors, and it's little wooden stools, and it's really tight, and it smells really garlicky, because I guess, you know, garlic is a main part of their ramen. So, you know, and a lot of people had to wait outside. You know, when I was going out, there were like 4 people waiting outside, because I guess it's so popular. But again, there's only 10 seats, so only so many people can eat in there. But that was last night. And then today, I'll try something different. So every day I'll try a different Sapporo or Hokkaido local-based meal. That's what I want to know, what the local or the residents eat. And when I make a video, I decided that I don't want to just do a travel video, because there's so many of those already out. You know, if you type into, you know, YouTube on the search, you know, about Sapporo, Hokkaido, or what to eat or what to do, there are tons of these videos. So I always want to do something about the story. What's the story of the average local person, or the average person running a business or a restaurant or working in a hotel? To me, those stories are the most interesting.